for the
Tax
podcast.
rebate.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh fucking! Why do I need to sneeze? Just for a start.
Your hay fever.
No, I don't really get it now. I usually get it early, like spring, and then it goes
Yeah.
by summer. But
Mine's been really weird. Like it's on for a bit, and then all of a sudden on Friday, Friday and Saturday, I was really struggling for like I don't know why. And then everyone's like, "Oh, why didn't you take your tablets?" I was like, "Yeah, but I haven't sneezed for like a month. Like I wouldn't just randomly take one day if it's feeling
same.
better."
Like if it goes, I stop, and then it comes back, and you start again. But
Yeah.
can't win, can you? Anyway, let's go. Hello everyone, welcome back to SwansCast. We're now back sort of ahead of a new season. So, season 2021-22, hopefully a little bit more back to normal after last season, which was a bit of a unique situation around COVID. You know, we didn't really go to the matches all year, except for the playoffs right at the end. So looking forward to a little bit of more normality, if you like. I don't know if it's going to be 100% perfect on day one, with the capacity of crowds and the rest of it, but it'd be nice to at least have that opportunity to go back and maybe travel up to some away games and stuff like that. But for us, our first full season since we started the podcast, so we're excited going into it as well, rather than halfway through, because we started in January. So before we do get into the nitty-gritty today, a little bit of like update on what we are doing, so feel free to skip ahead if you're not that bothered, but just as an update, go into the season about how we're going to structure the podcast coming up. So we're going to change the format slightly. We won't be doing necessarily pre-match and post-match of every single video as an individual video. We will still be kind of doing them, but we're going to be doing it as a weekly format. So probably every, I would say, Monday or Tuesday, a video will go out called SwansCast Weekly, where we will discuss if there's been a previous match on a weekend or in the midweek before. We'll discuss what happened there, and we'll look ahead to any sort of midweek matches coming up and the weekend after, if obviously there is one or two matches, depending on what week it is, etc. So trying to sort of condense it into more of a longer podcast sort of format then. Maybe less videos, but longer content in each video, and we will timestamp it for each section. We'll also then maybe look at any relevant news that's happened throughout each week and look at any highlights from the games, of course, as well as we're going to start touching on the rest of the league. So we won't look at every single match, but maybe what is kind of relevant to us, or maybe any standout games, like if something big happens, we'll have a look at that, and etc, etc. So that's what we're aiming for. It might sort of adapt throughout the season. We're happy to take your suggestions on board to see what you'd like to see, and we'll try and sort of secure a regular sort of format, so you know what you're getting into every time you watch the video. Aside from that as well, we're going to also keep doing our sort of individual podcasts, so the ones that are not necessarily linked to match days. So for example, we've got one coming up now where we will be recording this weekend with the Seattle guys that we did a podcast with a few months back. So we're doing a second one with them. So that'll be out sometime next week. But stuff like that, when we get guests on and we just discuss in general football stuff, it might not necessarily be always Swans related. Sometimes we've touched on the rugby, but that stuff will still go on separately as well. Okay, but that's enough, I think, housekeeping for now. So Lee is with me, joining me for the pre-season video number 1 of 2021-22. So how are you feeling ahead of the new season?
Hello.
Was that a silly question to ask?
Not well. You should have asked me. You should have asked me a couple of days ago. I was looking forward to it, but good to be back. I think I've been caught off guard a bit by how quick it's come around. Like the Euros finished, and then it was like a few weeks until the season started. We have our pre-season friendlies ready, but yeah, ready to get going now. Obviously, we got a lot of news to touch on in the last couple of days.
So I want to touch on the Euros,
jump straight in.
Well, you mentioned the Euros. We didn't actually finish our Euro series. We didn't do one for the final, and I'll be honest, that's because I've been a bit busy. Me and my partner just had our first child, so we've been a bit quiet for the last couple of weeks. That is why you haven't been heard from us for a couple of weeks, but I'm sure you appreciate that. Still very, very busy, but trying to fit the hour in Euro there to get these videos out. So, yeah, we move on. But yeah, you are right. It's been quite quick coming. But I think the speed at which the season's crept up on us has also made the shock of what's happened in the last couple of days even bigger. I say shock. I think some people were expecting it, and there has been some rumblings and some rumours and people talking. I think going back 2 weeks ago, I'm not even joking, I saw something on Twitter saying Steve Cooper will not be the Swansea manager in 2 weeks' time. And I was like, surely that's like, I mean, maybe 2 weeks, but a couple of days they said, or like, something's going to happen. And I was like, this is some guy on Twitter, I can't remember who it was to reference the source, but fair play, obviously it was accurate. And then I think a couple of days ago now, Planet Swans put out an article saying he was coming. And they had quite a bit of grief, to be fair. People were saying, what are you talking about? That's never going to happen. And then the news broke yesterday. Was it yesterday? Or was it the night
more.
before?
Yeah, it was like after the pre-season friendly, there was the rumour sort of kicked off like properly, and then it was announced yesterday then that it was official.
Yeah. Yeah, so the rumours came out, I think it was like Wednesday night, and then Thursday it was Thursday today, I'm getting my days mixed up. Anyway, the last couple of days, it's been official now. Steve Cooper and Swansea have parted ways by mutual consent. And the highlight, I think, from the statement, I say highlight, bit of a weird word to use, but the key point for me from the statement is this was decided 2 weeks ago. But he's been asked to continue training the squad and leading the pre-season games until they found an adequate replacement, essentially. So what do you make of it?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm split on it, to be fair, because I think the only thing that's annoying is how close we've come to the start of the season, which is a bit of a mess, really, to try and bring in a new manager with only 2 weeks to go. So that's the really frustrating thing. In all fairness to them, saying they've agreed it 2 weeks ago, you could say that he could have walked then, couldn't he? But he agreed to sort of stick around and help with the pre-season, the build-up. He does speak highly of the club, so maybe he was happy to sort of stick around while they were looking around for a manager. But yeah, I don't know. It seemed to me that after the playoff final, I accepted that he was going. I probably thought he's going somewhere. There were the rumours that he had interviews with Palace, which I think were true, which sounds like he probably was looking elsewhere. But then as the jobs started to fill up, Palace, Bournemouth, all these jobs started to go away, I thought, it looks like he might actually stay for another season now, because there was nowhere for him to go. Well, there was part of me that thought for a while, like, he's got to go now anyway, because he's probably, he's probably shown his hand that he wanted to leave, so it probably makes it hard for him to stay.
Yeah, but then it went on so long.
And I thought that he might actually stay for a season, and we might start building. But to do that, then 2 weeks before the season starts, has left us in a bit of a dodgy position.
Yeah, the timing for me I just don't understand it, because the reasons cited, not officially maybe, but from what has been gathered, two perspectives. Obviously, you've got Cooper's perspective and you've got the club's perspective. From the club, they're not happy that he's been applying for these jobs. So I think he applied for maybe West Brom, Palace, Fulham. So they're not happy with that. And maybe he's been kicking up a bit of a fuss about transfers and stuff. Not selling players and not having enough money. Not signing a striker. I say kicking up a fuss. I agree with him with those things. But obviously from the club perspective, they're not happy with that. But the big thing, I think, is the applying for jobs, isn't it? Because that shows the lack of commitment. He's looking to try get out. So that's the main reason they're happy to mutually terminate the contract. So it was reported, I don't know how accurate, that we wanted 3 million from him, from Crystal Palace for him if he went there. It's just funny, though, a couple of weeks later they could have had him for free. But surely if you're not happy with him applying for these jobs, you sort it out there and then, not like a month after, or a month and a half, 2 months after he's been applying. He's applied, you found out he's applied, he's gone for the interview, surely they know. Surely there and then you're like, hang on, that's not on. You contracted you don't do that, we're not happy with that. And then you don't wait this long to then cite that as the reason, surely.
Yeah, I know. I think they were probably hanging on as long as they could, hoping they would get compensation if one of these clubs came in for him. Because I think Palace was probably the front runner. And then, I don't know, all these other jobs then, like West Brom and Fulham and Bournemouth and stuff like that. They were probably sort of outside chances of them sort of looking at him. So I think they were just trying to hang on just in case there's somebody's come in, for him while he's under contract to get a bit of money out of it. But now we just ended up with nothing. And 2 weeks before the season starts, so yeah, it's just, it's a bit dodgy to me.
Yeah.
I still think you could speculate, and it's a bit it's a bit over the top, but it didn't seem right to me in that playoff final. Something didn't seem right. I think we didn't play very well the way we set up and everything. We spoke about the rumours came out early on in the season, didn't they? Like February
just
time
after
or
January, wasn't it? Just after the transfer.
when we started to dip in form. It probably wasn't that, but I think there's been sort of a bit of unrest in terms of Cooper and the board.
Something behind the scenes bubbling up.
Yeah, definitely. Especially between Cooper and the board. I think all last season he was so vocal in most interviews about resources and we haven't got the same amount of money as Brentford and Watford, and he said it all the time. So I think there's something that is quite, and I think it probably kicked off with remember when they sold Peterson, when he was expecting him to be in the squad,
and that was
and
like
he was
Winter's
quite vocal.
first move, wasn't it, basically, as well?
Yeah, I think since Winter's come in, especially, there's been a bit of a bad relationship there between Cooper and the board. So I think we probably shouldn't be surprised really, but it's just the timing of it, isn't it?
I mean, you could look back further. Potter did the same, essentially.
Yeah.
I know it worked out a bit different because Brighton did come in for him, but he was gone as soon as he could. Like, when, it's all well and good taking the job on, they know the situation to get into. But then when you're in that situation and you're doing well and you're overachieving, I think you kind of think they're surely going to give me a little bit more, and they don't. And I think that's the constant, and that's always going to keep happening. And I wouldn't be surprised, we don't know for a fact, we'll talk about it later on, who our new manager's going to be. I don't think, I'm not criticising them, but it's going to be difficult for them to progress from last season. And if they manage to do it, if they somehow manage to do it, or at least match last season, the same thing's probably going to happen again and keep happening until, well, who knows when until. I think when Birch was here, as the things probably were the same, he just had a really good way of handling being that middleman between the board and the club. And even though things were bad, he managed to put a spin on it that still managed to motivate the manager, the people involved in decisions, and managed to move us forward. But I think since Winter's come in, that seems to have been undone. Just again, there was such a good vibe around when Birch was there, and even though he was telling us things like the academy was going to get downgraded, no one felt as bad about it as they probably should have or would have, with other things that have happened under the Americans. Because Birch just, I don't know what it was, his good communication constantly with the fans and just the honesty there. I think everyone appreciated that a little bit, but Winter's just not had that at all since he's been in charge. And I think that has shown with Cooper. I think he said at some point that he hasn't really got a good relationship with him. The whole Peterson thing, as you mentioned, the lack of signing a striker in January, I think, was another big one. There's a couple of things really. And do you know what, there's been some signs. I did think about it the other day, but I didn't think he was going to ultimately necessarily mean he was going to leave right now. But I don't think any of the signings we've made are necessarily Cooper signings. Maybe youth, and he's been happy for him to come in. But there's no loans. There's no Premier League loans. There's no youth players from these big clubs, Chelsea, Liverpool, nothing.
Yeah.
They've not come. Usually we would have had 2 or 3 by now.
Yeah, I know. And that's a big problem. I know, he's been quite a divisive manager, Cooper, isn't he? Obviously with his style of play, but this is why I would get frustrated last year, because with Cooper out of the picture now, you saw what he did with Brewster, and Conor Gallagher the first season. Then that meant that we've got, the likes of Guehi again next season. We got Woodman, because it looked like Woodman. There was rumours that Woodman was going to come back at some point.
Yeah, and that's what I feel.
And then that went quiet.
As soon as this maybe started bubbling up, and all of a sudden they know he's not going to stay, that's gone quiet. There was rumours Gibbs White was going to come back, that disappeared. There was rumours we were going in for Harry Wilson. I don't know how realistic that is, but again, just the rumours just go. It's not even at least if the rumours are there, maybe something else will happen. But the rumours
they flatlined. Yeah, and it's like that's credit to him. Like we tried to defend him as much as we could last season. That's what he brought to the club. He attracted these players, and now we've lost that. He trained some of the young players last year. Look what he
Yeah,
did with Guehi, who's now what was it, 20 million to Palace.
yeah, exactly.
What was
But
his
like,
doing for 18 months training with him? We've lost that now.
but I just think that was a telltale. It's easy to look back now with hindsight, but it was definitely a telltale sign that we're like 2 or 3 weeks out from start of the season. We haven't made a loan signing. We usually get 5 to maximise it. You know what I mean?
Who's making these signings though? Because it's been like that.
It's got to be.
I remember
Graham
before.
Scott is the analysis guy, isn't he? And is it his name? Graham Scott.
Andy Scott, is it?
Andy Scott. Something. Kyle Scott. I don't know. Someone Scott. It's not Graham Scott, is it? I'm mixing up Potter and I think it's Andy Scott or something like that. But we've got like an analyst, and we a scouting analyst or head scout. But I don't know. It's a bit worrying that maybe that is part of the problem. Maybe like you wanted more control of the signings. Maybe a lot of signings, or some of them at least, weren't what he wanted, and maybe that's why we were playing the way we were playing last season so much, because he didn't think he could get more. If he had re-signed Brewster, perhaps it would have been more exciting.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if like we said, all those rumours were coming out, like Woodman and Gibbs White and Harry Wilson, however realistic they were. But I wouldn't be surprised if they sort of said, well, this is what we're getting, and it wasn't what he wanted, and that was the final straw. Then maybe we sort of dodged the bullet with all the other clubs coming in, and we were preparing to have him for another season. And then when it got down to looking at who we were bringing in, that was probably it then for him. Like we said, he's been vocal about it. He said, "Look, we haven't got the resources of the other clubs that he wants." Yeah. So
the other thing I've seen quoted is the fact that he was basically done with having to sell our star players for another summer. So, with that in mind, that we haven't sold anyone yet. We've got more bad news coming, basically. So prepare yourselves. Yeah. I think everyone is putting the bets on it. But my bet is Grimes is going, and it looks like maybe Fulham, from what I've seen. Which I think it would hurt less if it was a Premier League team. As much as it is to say it, Fulham probably is also a step up.
Yeah, now it is. I think you're right. I think, as I was saying about the rumours, if they probably said to him as well, like, we're looking to sell Grimes, etc., maybe more on the way. That's probably another reason, like, he was out the door.
Yeah.
Because I definitely think it's strange to this point, especially with us. We haven't actually sold a player yet. And usually, we at least lose. We at least lose 2, don't we, in the transfer window, and we're gutted.
This video will go out on like Friday morning, and by the time it's out, there'll be like an announcement.
Yeah, probably. But it's an ongoing issue because, now it's rare in football that managers stay at clubs for a couple of seasons. But with us, obviously, we have Potter. He was gone. We had Cooper for 2 seasons. He's gone. We've got another one coming in now. So it's an ongoing thing that there must be sort of rumours that circulate when our managers are doing well. Because I said last time, nobody's ever come in for Thomas Frank, as much as everybody raved about him with Brentford, how well he was doing, the football they were playing. He was never linked with a move away, as far as I know. You got like Daniel Farker for Norwich. They went up, they come down, they were class again.
Before he got sacked.
Wilder never linked with moves away.
Eddie Howe before you got sacked.
They never sort of touted like our managers all the time. So it's got to be like, they start becoming unhappy. They're doing well. They start becoming unhappy, and you don't know how it works with like agents and stuff. They put the feelers out, and they're unhappy, and they start getting linked to moves away. So I don't see it changing anytime soon. So I know we'll go on to it soon. But whoever comes in, if they go on and do well for a season, and overperform, which is what you've got to do. At the Swans at the moment, you've got to overperform. You've got to be punching above your weight. Then maximum we get is a year probably, or 2 years if we're lucky.
Yeah. We'll finish on Steve Cooper, but I just want to say, it's you've done a very good job for us. I'm very grateful for his tenure in charge of the Swans. Some people might have found his football not the most attractive. fair enough. I can understand to an extent why that opinion might have been there for some people, but ultimately I think results is what matters, and a 6th place and a 3rd place finish, 2 playoff appearances, semi-final and a final, you cannot argue with those results. And I think we don't know what's going to happen now, but it might be a case of better the devil you know for some people, because the football could be worse and then we could be fighting relegation, so you just don't know what's going to happen now.
It's all perspective though, isn't it? Like, I saw Simon Jordan on TalkSport was saying that he was a loser basically because he'd failed twice, he'd got to the playoffs twice and lost. And he was like, they were in the Premier League for 7-8 years, so they should be looking to get back. And I was like, hang on, like, dial it back a bit. Like, the players that we bring in, it's all young loan signings. We can't spend any money. Apart from Ayew, we had last season, we were a mid-table squad at best. So to get to a playoff final, it's ridiculous. You've got to peel it back a bit. And then, obviously, I know the style of play is an issue
for
a lot of
Crystal
people.
Palace do under him? He was the one that was in charge of Palace before.
Chairman, wasn't he, for Palace for a while? I think, I don't know. But he was quite vocal about it. But I just think, I don't know, it could be worse, couldn't it? We don't know who we're going to get in now. Well, we think we know who it is. So they better come in and play, Pep Guardiola football, or that's it. He's going to be slated as well unless he plays that football with the 3 mega signings that we brought in already. They're obviously world class. Let's see how that goes.
Yeah. Before we get on to the signings, then let's move on to who maybe will replace Cooper. So when the news broke yesterday, the default bookies personnel was released, and it's far more exciting than what it looks like now. Let me tell you, it was Frank Lampard and Eddie Howe, the top 2. I think they're the 2 I would have cited if you asked me, actually. Out of who I know is available, I would have been happy with either. However, when reality kicked in a little bit, people spoke to people, I guess, got a little bit of a tip off about certain people being in the running. Those names flew down the list, to say the least. And you can pronounce his name better than me. So who's the front runner again?
John Eustace, current assistant manager at QPR.
Have you got any history on him?
Not much, to be honest. Only just recognised the name from when we played through the leagues in the Championship and stuff. He's played for Watford, hasn't he, and Derby. I remember the name just as a player, and I remember he did a spell with QPR, didn't he, just as a caretaker. So not really much to go on managerial wise, to be fair. So yeah, it's a bit of a
risk.
It's a bit of a left field one again. Before we go into that, you're just having a look at some of the names just to the bookies at the moment. So I'm looking at Sky Bet. Obviously, he's 1 to 10 on favourite, so it looks like it's going to be that. And then we've got Cameron Toshak is usually linked all the time, isn't he? And Tate is there 12 to 1.
God.
And Chris Wilder, Heidegger Johnson, John Terry. And these are never going to happen. Andy Scott, actually, who we were talking about, is on the list 18 to 1.
It's actually him. Like, did I get the name
Must
right?
be him, isn't it? It's got to be him, isn't it?
I thought he was I didn't think he was like a coach, but maybe it's a different guy. I don't know. Who knows?
Interesting.
But yeah, okay. I don't really know much about him, so I can't comment. I don't know what his style of play will be. QPR, I feel like they have played maybe some exciting football over the last couple of years, and then maybe been a bit inconsistent and leaky at the back. But I mean, how much of that is down to him? I'm not sure. It's difficult, isn't it? I guess we'll have to just see. But then you could argue like Roberto Martinez, Brendan Rodgers, but took a punt on them, and it worked. And then Graham Potter and even Steve Cooper, same. We took a punt on them and it worked. But how many punts are going to work? That's the.
Yeah, I just had a look, and it's he did manage Kidderminster for 2 years, before he went to QPR. So a decent record, and he did 7 games at QPR.
I'm always skeptical of a manager who goes from managing a team to assistant manager.
Yeah, look, I mean, I don't want to complain too much. It's not exciting. It's just, let's be fair, it's not a name that's exciting for us to get a bit worked up. But I do love the way that we recruit managers. I gotta be honest. Like, we brought in Potter, who was still a bit unknown. I hate it when clubs go back to the usual, like, names that just get passed
Sam
around. Allardyce, Paul Lambert, Pulis, all these, just Steve McLaren, these journeyman managers. So I like that we go left field and we take a risk on this thing. Yeah, I like that we take a risk on people. Potter was an unknown, Cooper was an unknown, but as you said, the main thing was Potter had managed for a few seasons in Sweden and done well. They got to the Europa League and stuff nice, so it's good experience. Cooper had managed, England under 21s. I know it was his first senior team, so that was a bit of a risk, but decent experience managing England and being in that setup. So being within the England setup probably give him a lot of experience. But this one a little bit different in the sense that not a lot of experience is coming with that.
No.
So,
and you think as well, a lot of the backroom staff are going to leave, like Mike Magiston is his name. I'd imagine.
Yeah, apparently I saw a thing earlier, I don't know if it's true, but they're all still there at the moment, like Tate and all the backroom staff, they're still there.
Yeah, but they usually will stay until they appoint the new guy, and then if he wants to bring his own guys in. And
yeah,
Tate,
well,
though,
has he got his own team though?
I wouldn't say Tate. Tate probably will stay, because Tate's more linked with Swansea than Cooper.
Yeah, he's going to take charge.
Cooper brought in specifically.
Yeah,
the goalkeeper coach and Mike, whatever his name is, the one that shouts all the time on the sidelines.
Yeah, I know. It's a bit of a gutter, really, because he's the set piece coach, isn't he? And he's done quite well. We've sort of moved away from conceding a lot of goals or set pieces. Will he have a team to bring in? If he's an assistant manager at QPR, will he have a team ready to come in with 2 weeks?
Some sort of contacts, isn't he? But then maybe says again they could be new again, so maybe a risk. New people that aren't experienced at doing those roles.
Yeah, no, look, I mean, if it is him, which it looks like it will be, apparently it's going to be announced soon. Well, from what we gather from the rumours, we'll back it and give him a chance. You can't write him off. It's worked for us in the past when we've had unknown managers, so we'll back him and see how he does. But yeah, a bit worried just based on.
We've got to back him. It's just a bit of a shit situation all round, but it is what it is now. We've got to move on and see what happens and hope for the best, I guess. So can't really debate the new manager too much until that is fully announced. Maybe that will snag and won't happen, but you'd like to think. I'd imagine, based on the fact that they kept Cooper for 2 weeks after deciding they were parting ways, they know who they want, and it's probably pretty much tied up. I thought there would have been an announcement today based on that, but probably just tying up a few loose ends. And
it might not be because they said that Tate is going to take charge of the friendly on Saturday, didn't they? So it probably won't be announced till early next week.
Oh, right, okay. Fair enough. Okay, so let's move on anyway. Transfers then. So, 3 transfers we've done so far, if I'm right, as well as a bunch of youth players. New manager coming in now, so first of all, you ask whose signings they were, because I don't think they were Cooper's, as we discussed earlier. But the 3 that we signed then, Kyle Joseph, Liam Walsh, and Joel Pirou.
Yeah.
Liam Walsh, centre midfielder, I believe.
Yeah.
And then I thought Kyle Joseph and Joel Pirou were both forwards. But I believe Cooper played one of them in midfield in the friendly the other day.
Yeah, Joel Pirou, I think, sort of played in a 10 role, from what I gather.
Yeah, fair enough. So maybe you can do both. What do you think then? Do they cover the gaps that we need, or do we need a bit more?
Well, no, because I think basically you've got Kyle Joseph, in all fairness, could be a good youngster, but he's only 19. So realistically, can you expect him to come in and carry a championship team? I don't think so. Don't think he made too many appearances.
He couldn't have.
Well, you've got Whittaker, Cullen, and Kyle Joseph as our strike sort of options at the moment, and they're all sort of young, aren't they? Not ones to carry, like I said, not ones to carry a championship team. I mean, Cullen looked bright last season when he was playing, so you never know. I'd be happy for him to lead the line to give him a chance. But we definitely haven't replaced what we've lost. I mean, we've lost Ayew. I mean, you could argue you can't replace that in the championship, but
yeah, Horahan.
Yeah, you've got to look at the loan signings that we've lost. I think at the moment as we stand, we're struggling because, like we said,
Horahan, Geehee, and Woodman, the main ones.
Woodman, not replaced them, have we?
No, wrong.
And as we said earlier, I think more could be going as well.
Yeah, so we definitely need more. It looks like Grimes might be on his way out. And if it isn't Grimes, I don't even know who would generate the fee at the moment. Cabango or Roberts, but Roberts is injured till October, so maybe he's got till January.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe that probably saved us a bit. It might go in January if anybody wants to take the plunge on him, but I wouldn't be surprised if Roberts goes, Grimes, and like you said, maybe Cabango. I can't think of anyone else.
I've heard they're looking to offload Byers as well, but maybe he'll get another chance now if there's a new manager. But I just think there's no point selling Byers because I don't know if are we going to get better? Are we going to buy someone better? I feel like he gets into the squad at the moment. I haven't seen enough of Liam Walsh to judge him. And then, if you're saying Grimes is gone, you've got Felton and Danda.
Yeah, well, Fulton maybe. He played well last season. I wouldn't rule that out. But yeah, we'll stick with what we got.
He's not as pretty as he, so it's probably not been as vocal in the rumour mill.
Yeah, that's true. But
it's probably his football maybe, but
what we've got at the moment, what we've got right now is worrying. I think not to be all doom and gloom, but the squad that we've got to work with, there will be movements before the start of the season, but yeah, I swear it's definitely depleted compared to last year.
Yeah, no, it's a bit worrying. So I still think we haven't quite fixed our forward issue because, is Joel Pirou a forward? Like he started as Cam, so you already starting to ask questions at that point. Perhaps he can play there, but it's another Whittaker, isn't it? Like we thought Whittaker was a forward, but he don't play there. He plays on the wing.
Yeah, I know. It's a strange one. Well, what if he's the next Michu?
Sign a striker, like someone that just plays striker. That's what we need.
Yeah. What if he's the next Michu?
Maybe, but Michu hated playing striker, didn't he? He just did it because they asked him to.
Yeah.
I mean, if he scores the goals from Cam, then yeah, we'll take it. But I'm not saying it's a bad signing. We probably needed a number 10 as well. If he is a number 10, fine. Maybe that's that position done. But I thought he was a forward and he's playing 10, so I'm already confused. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Well, we'll see how he lines up on Saturday now as well. I'm sure we'll get an answer in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
But no, I can't remember what I was going to say now. Well, no, last season we said like so many times that we've got a good 11, but we didn't have the cover on the bench.
Got even less cover now. Like Jamal
Lowe, even less.
Routledge covers that, but how long is he out for? He's probably out for a while.
Yeah.
There's no one else, is there?
No. I don't know what system he's going to play.
Was on the right wing. Who have you got there? Garrick?
Yeah, Garrick. Anyone? Are we missing someone?
Who came on for Whittaker in the friendly?
Oh, I can't remember. Whittaker's got a good goal, though.
Yeah, he did score a good goal. And Cullen as well with a good flick.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to wait and see.
We didn't look great, though, I'll be honest. We didn't look great. I know it's friendly and stuff. Second half was quite bad, actually. But then you've got to remember, at the time we didn't know, but now we know. Cooper was going, like, did the players know? It must be hard as a player to, like, it's just not a good situation, is it? Like, how can you gee yourself up for that game knowing the manager ain't going to be there? You're not really impressing anyone because
I was going to say
you're not. You're just there to get fitness. So
yeah. Well, pre-season is a chance for players, especially younger players, to sort of put their hand up, isn't it, for the new manager? But
yeah, now I completely understand why he played so many of the youth team. He had like 6 of them on the bench. Yeah.
Well, that's probably all we got, to be fair.
Yeah, but Byers won in the squad, and neither was Garrick. I don't know if they're injured.
Yeah, that was strange. Like, Byers wasn't there. No, that's a really strange one. I don't know if he must have been training. I know, like the media have been releasing pictures of the Swans.
He scored. Not the first game. Played one of the Newport games. Scored in.
Oh, did he? Oh, right. Okay. Well, maybe a knock or something.
Yeah, maybe.
Or they've lined up a move and they've just kept him safe, kept him wrapped up.
Well, I saw there was, I think Sheffield Wednesday were after him. So if the Barry Bannon links are true, maybe this is some sort of swap deal going on there. Anyway, what we're touching on now, what do you think? We've been linked with Barry Bannon, and I've seen a fee of 1 million quoted. You have to imagine the reason we're linked with him is because you think Grimes is going. What do you make of him as a replacement for Grimes? I think, for me, he's a good player, but you're selling Grimes, who's like, what, 24, 25, who is our captain, for a 31-year-old who's like finishing his career, basically.
Yeah, I think it's a bad signing. I mean, he's done all right for Sheffield Wednesday and in the Championship. I mean, he's done a job, but they've never been pushing, have they? I think it's just
star man last year. I think he did well,
Yeah.
like, when they were top end, like when Carvajal was there.
Yeah, I know, but that's going back a few years now, isn't it? When Carvajal was there, you're talking about a 31-year-old in midfield. How many games is he going to play? You know, Tuesday, Saturday, and it's just not a signing. Again, if it does happen, give him a chance, get behind him, all that. I will say that. Yeah, I know, but it's just not a signing
It's like
to progress, is it? Oh God, yeah, it's just not a signing that we want for progression, is it? To get into the playoffs again next year, if that's the aim, it's not the signing. That's for me.
Yeah, it's
harsh.
Well, he might be right. I think he'll do a solid job if he does come, but it won't be like the magic that you maybe need. It just seems like it's a patch job again. I don't think it's an upgrade.
It's a patch job. It's a patch job again, and that's what we're doing. We've been filling the gaps now for 4 seasons. Just trying to fill the gap, find people to fill in the gaps. While we had, the likes of Ayew, and obviously we had Bernie and Dan James and all them, and then when they go, they fill them away. But slowly, we've just eroded the squad quality. Now, like you said, Grimes is probably the only player that we've got, and Connor Roberts maybe that attracts a fee. If for argument's sake they go, and replaced with less quality, which is what will happen with the money situation that we've got, it's getting a bit worrying, to be fair. Just because there's not many players that are breaking through at the moment now. Maybe Cullen,
Ollie Cooper.
Ollie Cooper's have been on the bench, but yeah, it is getting a bit worrying for me, because this is exactly what happened. This is exactly what happened when we were in the Premiership. We had an unbelievable squad, and then we just got through that time where we were selling players for big money and not replacing them with quality. And then slowly over time, by the time it got to the end where we went down, the squad just wasn't good enough. There were still some good players in there, but the squad just wasn't good enough to stay up.
I think it was one very good piece of business, and I don't want to say too much because we'll probably get banned on YouTube for saying certain words. I think we had a good fee for our star attacking midfielder. Look, like, based on current affairs.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah. Well, yeah, I can't say too much about that, but
I can't believe it when I saw it. I'm sure everyone's aware of what we're talking about. I'm not going to spell it out, but just do some research. Someone that we sold to Everton, maybe in a bit of trouble. But look,
yeah, incredible.
Allegedly, nothing's been concrete information. But
that was probably the last straw though. After that sale and Llorente in the same season. They were sort of the last two left, weren't they? The last two star players left.
We re-signed Boney.
Oh yeah, well yeah, exactly. Exactly. We were just replacing with less quality, and it seems like that's what's happening now.
Well, yeah, we'll see, isn't it? We'll see. Maybe the manager will come in and do another massive job and exceed expectations, but I just feel like that's gonna stop at some point. I feel like it's been 3 years in a row where we kind of exceeded expectations. Maybe Potter's one was a bit kind of expected to be there, but Cooper to exceed both times, I think it's going to be hard to do that again. I can't see it happening.
Not me. Not with the squad that we've got.
No. So 3 signings then. What positions would you be looking to fill?
Right, we need a right back. We need another centre half.
I've got Roberts and Norton. If we're going to play 4.
But Roberts is injured until October, and if we assume he may go, we need another right back. We need another centre half. With Guehi going back.
We've got Latabodia, Cabango, and Bennett. Yeah. And potentially Cooper, is it? Brandon Cooper?
Oh, yeah, well, maybe they won't sign a centre half then, because realistically they need 4, so maybe they'll play with, depending on how many he wants to play at the back, the new manager. That's probably enough, so we probably won't get the money for another centre half. So you've taken our best centre half out of last season. We're not replacing him. Well, we got Bidwell and Manning, haven't we, at the moment for left back?
Goalkeeper.
Yeah, to be honest, I could completely honest with like Woodman going. I was gutted, but I'm quite happy for Bender
Have a go.
to take over number one. Yeah, and Hamer on the bench. I'm quite happy with that. When he left Woodman, I didn't think we'd have a chance of getting him back anyway. And I thought I'm probably happy. Bender
He deserves
did well. Yeah, he deserves a chance. I mean, he played one game last season. Woodman was injured.
Yeah,
he played one
and
game.
then he got injured for the other cup games. We couldn't play it.
Yeah, so I'm happy for him to have a chance. Our own young goalkeeper rather than loaning
maybe
one.
we'll see him for 2 years and then he'll be gone.
Yeah.
He's quite tall.
Or this year,
massive goalkeeper.
He'll have one good game against Bristol Rovers now, and they'll try and get some money for him. But no, I'm quite happy with that. To be fair, him and Hamer on the bench, that's fine. Midfield, assuming Grimes goes and Byers, maybe we need 3 midfielders.
And Felton and Walsh, Cooper if he counts. They played someone there on the weekend. Not weekend, the last game. They brought someone.
You're probably looking. We need 2 or 3 midfielders at least.
Who it was. They brought one of the youngsters on. Did a decent job, but again, it'd be tough to ask him to play a full season. He hasn't, he hasn't made a full debut, I don't think.
Yeah, and then we probably need. Well, we're going to say Whittaker. Well, if you say Lowe on one wing and Cullen through the middle and Whittaker on the other wing at the moment.
You've got Routledge who's injured, who's there somewhere.
Yeah,
so you've got Joe Perreault, Kyle Joseph.
Yeah. So yeah, what was that? 4 or 5 signings?
I know we said midfielders. We classed Jan Dander as a midfielder, but that's not even looking at behind the striker if we're playing a cam.
Yeah, so realistically, we've only got Fulton and Walsh.
Yeah, and Dander plays, so there's no cover for any of them.
By all accounts, though, like what I've heard and what I've seen, Liam Walsh is a good player. I've seen some good sort of clips of him playing, but apparently very injury prone. So, we're gonna need bodies in midfield.
Yeah, we need him to not get injured.
Yeah.
So, three places. Where would you put it? What would you choose?
What do you mean now?
If the board said you can sign 3 players, what positions are you going to fill? Because there's a lot there that you've mentioned.
3.
Because I can't see us signing 6. Can you?
No, definitely a right back. Definitely a central midfielder, and I would say a striker, but I don't think that's coming. Maybe with Perreault going in there, I'd probably play Cullen up front. Maybe another winger, cover Lowe and Whittaker.
Maybe rotating the forward areas. That'd be.
We're desperate for that we haven't had for seasons. There's a goal-scoring midfielder. Maybe that Perreault can do it, but we're just desperate for someone that can score goals from midfield, 10 goals a season.
Yeah. No, definitely. Okay, we won't sort of make predictions and stuff for the season on this one. Maybe we'll leave that for our episode the week before the season starts. When we got a bit more clarity on the manager situation, maybe any more signings, seen a couple more friendlies. It's going to be hard to judge anyway, because by the time they sort the manager out and he has time with the team, you just don't know. We might be playing a completely different formation, and God knows what the team will look like. I mean, he hasn't really got the options to rotate it that much, to be honest. But
worry is with the timing as well. It's what the championship's like. If you have 10 games, first 10 games of the season, you don't pick up a lot of points. It's a hard graft to get back up.
Yeah.
Back up into mid-table and a playoff push.
Well, the 3 seasons since we come down, we've had good starts, and we've kind of tailed off in the middle. Last season was after. It was after January, wasn't it? Last season, but the 2 before was sort of Christmas period is where we tailed off under Potter and Cooper's first season. Yeah. So I think it's important getting a good start, and that could be the risk now in this situation.
Yeah.
Anyway, any last words?
Yeah, other than that, I mean, it's all good. Other than all that, we're lucky. It's absolutely boiling though, and I'm struggling. It's hard for us snowmen. Well, melting.
I did say before we finish, I said that I would read out what some people thought of the whole manager situation. So we put a tweet out earlier asking what does everyone basically think about the manager situation, were they expecting Cooper to go, And if they were they expecting him to go like this close to the season? Like a bit like you said, you kind of thought he was going to go up to the playoffs, but then it got to a point where you're like, okay, maybe he's not going to go, and now he's gone. I think there's a lot of people in that boat. So, got some comments here. So we got at Steve Pierre saying what he achieved is incredible, and we have had 2 exciting seasons with him. Applaud what he's achieved, wish him well, and let's get behind the next appointment. I hope the right decision has been made. Only time will tell, but yeah, you are right. We all need to get behind the next appointment. Doesn't matter how exciting or non-exciting it is. We all need to get behind the new manager. Got Swans talk. I was expecting it, but not in the eventual manner that it happened. The relationship with the board clearly broke down, and I feel Cooper didn't want to tarnish his record over the last 2 seasons here, knowing we don't have the resources to be anywhere near as strong next season. That's probably spot on. I think that's fair enough.
Yeah, that's fair. We said how much he mentioned the resources in his interviews all the time, didn't he?
Yeah. I think the January one was a massive issue, like not getting a striker, because we could have been in the top 2. We really could have been in the top 2, and he probably feels that himself. If they had fixed the problems properly, then
imagine how frustrating that is for him, knowing that we were almost there. We were on the cusp of it, and they don't get the backing. It must be so frustrating.
Yeah. Oh, I think I correct myself. Actually, I said we finished. Did we finish? We didn't finish 3rd in the end, did we?
4th.
Sorry, I got it wrong earlier. But I got an excuse. It's been a long couple of weeks, but I put that in you now before someone puts in the comments that we didn't finish 3rd. My apologies. John, who I've been on the cast for a while, but we will get him back at some point. Last time, actually, made that infamous prediction of smashing Huddersfield, and he hasn't been seen since. Been missing ever since. Anyway, he commented, if his position became untenable 2 weeks ago, then has it not done more damage to keep him here for the start of the pre-season? Surely that gives the new boss less time and games to implement new ideas. Also, we have to find a new way to pay off the referees now, which isn't ideal.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Gotta love that.
Oh, we've lost that now.
Yeah, and Amy as well, Amy Clement, who comes on the channel quite regular, has said, I actually didn't expect it. I was positive and felt like another Cooper season with some investment and we would have been competing again, but it's never that simple. Yeah, it's true. Yeah. I guess with the Swans, it is never that simple.
I think it would have been though. I mean, if he stayed another season, built on with the players that we've got and the players that he got on with, and then added, some of his loan sort of pull that he's got with the bigger clubs, I don't see why we couldn't have easily challenged again.
Yeah, I definitely think we could have pushed on with a little bit of good management behind the scenes, not from him, but just behind the scenes. Last one then. So DubLove76 has said, not surprised at all. So many issues that have led to Cooper's departure. Lack of investment to match Cooper's ambition and investment in players. Breakdown in relationship between Cooper and Winter. For example, the Peterson transfer, which you mentioned earlier. Split fan base with regards to Cooper's style of play and tactics. Cooper applying for jobs over the summer. I mean, you could go on for reasons leading to his departure. And then he just went on to say after we replied to him how Birch was a different class, and I think the Winter stuff has definitely had a big impact on relationships. It's not been as smooth as in terms of club to board since he's come on board.
Yeah, I think everyone's spot on there, and we all sort of see this. I think the signs are there. Signs I think was more hope than anything that they might be able to overcome it. But
he's hardly spoke all summer, did he? So
true.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll leave this video there. So this was basically episode 1 of the season 2021-2022. So I guess pre-season episode 1, you could say. But we'll be back next week to discuss whatever happens in between, and maybe looking. What we're going to talk about next week, Lee? You did tell me some stuff.
Next week, I think we'll have a look at. We just have a look at a bit of the championship overall, is it? Just see what other teams are looking at. Maybe we'll do a bit of a prediction, see who we think's going to go up and down, maybe.
Yeah.
And then we'll have a look at
some of the breakout players, or maybe flops and stuff like that.
Yeah, just have a look at some of the signings that have been made, some of the manager movements. Just have a look what we think.
Maybe
where we
the
fit into that.
The relegated new teams we're going to be facing, and the ones
Yeah,
that come up
and
from below.
Yeah, and then we'll have a look the week after then, which should be the game week for the first game of the season then, and we will have a look maybe how the Swans are going to do. Get an honest prediction of how the Swans are looking. We'll probably know, or we will know the manager situation by then, and hopefully we'll know a bit of transfer movement as well.
Yep. Other than that, then obviously at some point in between this and the next episode, we will have a podcast with the Seattle Sounders Union. Obviously, we made links with them based on the Jordan Morris transfer, so we're gonna have a catch up with them and maybe catch up with like how has Morris been since, how's his recovery going, what's it looking like, and then maybe touch on some things like their views on the Euros and some other stuff like that. And also, I've got the second video of the Football Manager series we did, the fantasy draft, which is also to be launched at some point in the next week or two, so keep your eyes peeled for that. And on that note, thanks for watching as always. This will be available on Spotify as well, so I know saying that at the end of a YouTube video, you're probably not going to watch this one again, but all of the podcasts we do like this now will be available on Spotify. So there'll be the SwansCast podcast for all the general ones, like the one we're going to do with the Americans on the weekend, and then SwansCast Match Day, which will be the weekly episodes that we're talking about the games and Swans current affairs, if you like. But don't forget to subscribe to keep up to date, and leave a like as well, because that helps push us and lets more people see the video and tells YouTube you like what we are doing. Let us know in the comments below what you think about the manager situation, and we shall see you in the next video.
See you soon.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget, if you enjoyed the video, to click the like button to help us grow. To keep up to date with all of our new uploads, hit the subscribe button and push the bell to ensure you are notified of all of our new videos. As always, engage in the comments and let us know your opinions on what we discussed today. And if you want to support us directly, check out our new merch where you can find some awesome Swansea related t-shirts.